Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Cole. It's Sunday afternoon, September 15th, and this is your announcement for Week 5 of Con Law, Political Science 3753 for the fall 2024 term. Everybody, very quickly, we need to finish up this week with executive power. We had looked at the class notes for Lecture 6 last week, and we're looking at 7 and 8 this week. Now, Lectures 7 and 8 begin with discussion of the controversy over appointment and removal power. If the president has power to make an appointment, does it follow from that the president can also remove that appointed official? Now that becomes a very complicated question because the Constitution is not explicit about it. Now, after that, everybody, we have quite a bit about the extent of foreign policy and national security power, including the World War II cases, the Japanese exclusion case, the steel seizure case during the Korean War period, and a number of issues that come up during the Cold War, during and since, and then after the Cold War, the 9/11 attacks and the USA Patriot Act, and cases and issues that have arisen from all of that. Now, to finish up in the notes for Lecture 8, we have any number of issues that have arisen when the extent of presidential power, authority, and prerogative has come before the courts, including executive privilege, which was an issue in the Watergate scandal, not just that period of time, but certainly with the U.S. versus Nixon case and the eventual resignation of President Nixon. That's constitutionally significant. And then presidential immunity from prosecution, which, as we know, has been a controversy just within the past few weeks. And we've had an important Supreme Court decision that some people are describing as a landmark opinion on that issue of presidential immunity just a few weeks ago. That brings us to our second discussion out of 7 that we'll have over the course of the term. Now that will be beginning, some of you may be seeing this Sunday evening. The discussion will run Monday and Tuesday. So if you don't see this message till Monday, it'll be today and tomorrow, Monday and Tuesday the 15th and 16th. And that is over the Trump versus United States case. And we've given you a link to the opinion itself, which you might want to take a glimpse at. It goes over for 100 pages or more. But also, what's always a good alternative to that, an article summarizing the case and the decision from the SCOTUS blog website, Trump versus the United States. Now, what happened here, there have been 4 prosecutions of Trump. One of them came to a conclusion on May 31st when he was convicted in the so-called hush money case. He will now not be sentenced until after the election. There are 3 other prosecutions. The hush money case was in the New York Supreme Court. There's also a case in Fulton County, Georgia, and federal cases that have been brought in Florida and in the District of Columbia. Now, the Trump versus United States case had to do with the election interference case brought by Justice Department Special Counsel Jack Smith in D.C. federal court. And what the Supreme Court found after Donald Trump and his lawyers pled immunity from prosecution, they laid a doctrine down about presidential immunity. It turns out there are 3 categories. In functions, actions related to what the court calls the president's core constitutional duties and powers, there is absolute immunity. For other official acts not related to those core functions, there is a presumption of immunity. So presumably that presumption could be overcome, but other things equal, there's an assumption of immunity. So the court, and especially Chief Justice Roberts, the majority seem concerned that they not hamstring the president in discharge of presidential duties for fear of prosecution. Okay, so there's one level of absolute immunity, another level of presumptive immunity, but for unofficial acts, there is no immunity. Okay, that's the decision. Well, in spite of the fact that they stipulated no immunity for unofficial acts, there was quite a bit of alarm over the decision and feeling that maybe the court had acted in a partisan matter. Of course, it's always difficult to make judgments like that. But that's what we've asked you to look at for the discussion. How do you think the court did in the case of Trump versus the United States? That'll be our second of 7 discussions for the term, and that will be running Monday and Tuesday, the 16th and 17th, our second out of 7 discussions. Everybody, let me just mention, after this week, we have 2 more weeks, 4 more sets of lecture notes, and then the midterm exam coming up shortly after the first of the month. I believe it's scheduled for the 3rd and 4th of October. We need to finish up on executive power this week. Then we'll be looking for 1 week at congressional power to tax, spend, and regulate commerce. And then for 1 week after that, federalism issues. And that will take us through the class notes for lectures 9, 10, 11, and 12, which will be the end of the material for the midterm exam. And once we do this discussion number 2 on Monday and Tuesday, there will then be 1 more quiz and 1 more discussion before the midterm exam. And that's what we're doing for the next 2 or 3 weeks, with the midterm exam coming up shortly after the first of the month. So we hope you will take part and participate in discussion 2, Monday and Tuesday, the 16th and 17th. And we'll be finishing up on executive power and asking you to look at that material. And once we finish the discussion, we'll be getting out more material to you about another quiz and another discussion, 1 more of each before the midterm exam. So we hope you will take part in discussion number 2, and we'll be talking to you once again a week from now at this time.